Hey guys, and welcome to Knit. In today's video, I'm going to show you how you can take your baby and mama whales and turn them into orca whales. It's a super easy way to adapt this pattern that I have linked down below. I have video tutorials and PDFs on how to make these down in the description. This is not going to go over the general body and how to make the general body, but it is going to show you the yarns that I use to turn my whale black and white. Sometimes I use sparkly yarn, sometimes I don't, depending on what my whale is, and how I do these little side pieces right here that add the orca flair to the amigurumi. It's basically going to be showing you how to make this little circle to add to the side of the eyeball of your little orca whale. If that's something that you're interested in, then stay tuned. This is going to be a fairly short video, hopefully, unless I get too rambly. But basically what you're going to need is some worsted weight yarn. You're going to want to use the same weight yarn that you use for your whale. In this whale, I believe I'm using Red Heart Soft, and then I'm using Red Heart White on this one. There's another whale over here that I used Heartland, which I did the same for one of the mama whales. This is Heartland Lion Brand, and then this is just, that's sparkly. So that is Karen Simply Party in white. You can't tell in this lighting, but it's actually like a sparkly yarn. And this is also the same brand. It just made a little sparkly whale, and I like how he turned out. I'm going to show you how to make the little circles for this specific amigurumi. And I think I've got a third whale over here just hanging out. Yeah, they're all just kind of hanging out. This one's got sparkle bottoms. This one does not. Not that you can tell any difference in the light right now. That's strange. Also, one thing that I do want to recommend is that some of you were talking about how you get polyfill all over your amigurumi. A big thing that can help with that is just using a little bit of a lint roller. That'll take it right off, and then you don't have to worry about all your polyfill. It's much more noticeable on black amigurumi than it is on like specifically white parts of amigurumi, because the white polyfill contrasts really a lot with the black and like browns and grays and darker colors for your yarn, versus the polyfill will look exactly the same as the white polyfill on the bottom. So there's that, and I use this always just for that purpose. Basically, you're going to want to use a size 4 or a worsted weight yarn, and basically there's going to be two different sizes, mama size and I've got a baby size. There we go. All right, so let's get started on the baby whale first. I've got these to show you that this is what it looks like for these ones, but I still need to finish for my Heartland one. I'm doing Heartland for both of these right now, and I thought I had, there it is. We're essentially creating this circle, which is 5 stitches around, and we're going to attach it around the eye. I like to attach it with the string going right through there, but I'm getting a little ahead of myself. I'm going to be using, as long as I don't knock everything over, I'm going to be using a size 3 to 0.25 millimeter or a size D3 crochet hook. I'm using a Susan Bates. I'm going to scooch these other whales over here. We're going to have you hang out here. And essentially what we're going to do is we're going to make our magic ring. We're working on baby first, and then I'll show you how we expand out to the mama, just because that's the easiest. I'm going to pull my tail just like that. I made a little bit of a slip knot, and now I'm going to chain 2. This is how I make my magic rings. If you watched my whale video and you watched my mama whale video, then you'll be familiar with this method. I'm doing 2 chains, and then I'm going to go back inside the very first chain and not split my yarn, like so, gently. There we go. And I'm in. So now I'm going to make 5, not normally I do 6, but only 5 this time. 5, 2, 3, 4, 5 single crochet. We're going to pull our tail. I like to leave a nice long tail, by the way, when I'm doing this, because we're going to be using it to sew afterwards. And now, instead of doing anything else, I'm going to take my hook and I'm going to go back inside that very first single crochet that I made, and I'm going to slip into it. Slip and then chain 1. We're going to leave a nice long tail for sewing. And that is how you crochet the little circle. I do 5 single crochets within a circle. I'm going to take my darning needle. I'm going to pick up my tail that I just made, and I'm going to go through this front stitch here, and I pull that through just to make it a nice and even circle. And then I'm going to take that exact same darning needle, I'm going to take it and poke it into the eyeball right along the right side of the eyeball, and then position it to go down through the white as far out as I can get it. So if I can get that to go even further out, there we go. Hey, that's good. I'm going to pull that, and now it's where I want it to be. I'm going to also take this string right here, the beginning string, and I'm going to find where it overlays across inside underneath. So that's right around where it lines up with underneath. I'm going to do the same exact thing where I go through as far as I can, and then I'm going to pull that like so. Now that's not going to be super attached, and what we're going to want to do is I'm going to take a hot glue gun and I'm going to kind of lift it up, hot glue it, and then squish it, and then I'll take my tails afterwards. I'm not going to cut them right away, and then I'll take them and kind of tug them to make sure that they're secure. So I'm going to hot glue it real quick, make sure that my tails are not cut yet, and then once this is hot glued and secured, then I will pull on my tails. I'm going to do the same thing with my other little Orca circle, and then I'll be back. Now, what I would want to do is I'm going to show you how I do this little circle for the mama whale. Essentially, it's this big, giant circle for the mama. This one already has its two, so I do not have one for sparkle whale. And sparkle whale is very similar. We are going to be taking this yarn. We're going to create a magic ring. We are going to be doing the same thing where we put 5 inside that ring. So 1, 2 chains, make our magic ring, place 5 single crochet inside. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to pull my tail. And here, in order to hide my tail, I like to not sew this in to the body as much as the base one is. I do this a little bit differently. So I'm going to take my tail and I'm going to kind of work with it as if it's a part of my stitches. So essentially when I go through, I'm going to go underneath my tail, kind of let it be a part of it. And I'm going to go inside this first stitch here, just like I did for my slip stitch earlier. But this time I'm going to single crochet and increase that same stitch while also holding my yarn in front so that it is becoming part of that stitch. Going back in and doing another one. This increases that one stitch into 2 stitches, and essentially we're going to increase every single one of these stitches. So all 5 stitches, and turn that into 10 stitches. So we're at our second increase. We're doing this the entire time around, kind of keeping the tails a part of it because I find that that makes it easier to hide the tail. I don't have to worry about this secondary tail. It's not as easy to just pluck that in there as it is for the small baby whale. That's why I do it a little bit differently. Did I do 2? I did 2 in that stitch. Now we're on our 4th stitch. It's harder because they're so tight. There we go. I don't know why, but when I do small amigurumi like this, small little pieces, it always ends up super tight. I think it's because my tension's just like, and I'm splitting everything. There we go. This is the last one, so of course I've got to be all glitchy on the last one. So 1, and go back in. I didn't lose the stitch, there's that at least. And 2. We are now going to just let the tail hide towards the back. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 stitches. We're going to go back into the very first stitch of the next round, slip stitch, and chain 1. Now I'm going to leave a nice long tail, and I'm going to just kind of pull that. I'm going to take this tail, and since I worked it into the stitches of my work, I'm going to just cut it. So that's just going to be, you know, gone. And now we are going to take our darning needle, after scooching everything else away. We're going to do the same exact thing where I go through the stitch right after the slip stitch, go through the front and pull it. That way it's kind of nice and even. I like how that looks better. And we're going to take it, and this is our eyeball. We are going to take our darning needle and do the same exact thing where we go through the center of the stitch, go as far out as we can. And there it went, apparently. And there it went, apparently. Eek! There we go. Pull it. As I hit my camera. There we go. Pull it and then just kind of let it settle there. And I'm going to actually, you can sew this however you want. This is just how I prefer to sew it. I'm going to take a hot glue gun and I'm going to glue the bottom of this and just press it really firm on there and kind of put pressure on it for a really long time. Not where it's going to touch the white though. So I kind of lean it upwards so that it's not touching the white. And I'm going to do the same exact thing with the other side. So I have this other one right here. I don't think I went through the front of the stitch on this one. I'm going to go through the front of the stitch right there and do the same exact thing on the other eyeball. I'm just going to take a quick little thing of hot glue and, oh, there it is, found him. I kind of tug on it as much as I can. And after I hot glue, I'm going to do the same thing where I do it with these eyes too. And I'm going to get my little thing and get all this fuzz off of it. Sometimes it works, sometimes you have to go in and individually grab pieces. Anyway, it likes to stick to everything in the world while it's on its way out. I'm going to then tug on my tails the same as I'm going to do with these. So I'll be back as soon as these are glued, but that is essentially how you do the little Orca attachments, addendums to your little whale. Oh, also, I have a addendum to the, essentially, I wanted to kind of do a little update too. So this is what the mama whale tail looks like and the baby whale tail looks like. And on this whale, I decided to do a massive giant tail. Essentially, this is these pieces right here. So I just increased from 5 to 10. And then I made 2 of them and I sewed them together and did this on the back. If you guys are interested in seeing a tutorial on how to make the more, I don't know, chubby tail, essentially. I got a comment basically asking me for a bigger tail and how I would go about doing that. So I decided to do that on one of these. And if you're interested in that, well, here you are, because you can essentially turn these little cheeks, sew 2 together and then make a giant whale tail instead of one that looks like the baby whale. So there's that. Be right back after hot gluing. All right, so I'm taking my hot glue gun and I just added a dab and I pushed it in there. And now I'm gonna go to the second one to show you, because the first one's always kind of hard to do. I burned myself a lot on this hot glue gun, let me tell you. I'm going to gently put a little dab in the center. I try not to go around the entirety of it, because when I squish it down, it'll go around and be probably enough. There we go. Yep, there it is. I found the hot. It went out further than I thought it would. And I kind of just press it and I hold it for a hot minute, literally. And I'm going to do the same thing for these ones. So that's essentially what I mean by hot glue these on. And then after this is cool and done, I'm going to take these tails and pull them really tight and then I'm going to cut them off. See, once these are cool, probably overnight. I let these go for a while. I sometimes also squish them in between 2 things and let them kind of just hold for forever. Bear back. All right, so these have dried overnight and now I am going to take the tails and I'm going to pull on them first, pull and make sure that they're nice and tight. That way, when I go to cut them, they will be like so. And there, that finishes the mama whale. We're gonna do the same thing with the baby whale. We have 4 strings this time though, and we're just going to kind of tug on them all, fix it, look like that. Apparently take the lint roller to all of the fluff everywhere on this particular whale. And I'm going to take my large scissors and cut this one. I like to do it with lots of tensioning. That way when it goes back into the body, it will just go right back in and you don't have a tag just hanging off. I kind of always just pull on it while I'm cutting it. That way it'll just go right back into the body and it's hidden. There we go. I know that that was the same way of saying that twice, but still. All right, and that's pretty much all there is to altering the mama and the baby whale pattern into an orca whale. I like doing this little version. It's super duper easy. This is a cute little sparkly yarn, which can add a little bit of flair to your amigurumi, or you can use just plain black or heartland, and it will also work out just well. I wanted to show all the different types of yarn that you can use to still get the same exact effect. And that's pretty much all there is to it. If you like videos like this, then subscribe to our channel. Hit the like button so I can know that this is the kind of video that you like and I can make more content like this. Follow all of our social media stuff so you can be posted when we post new tutorials. I'm going to be doing a narwhal version of the mama horn, and I'm going to be doing a shark version because my original shark video actually had to have the sound taken out of it because I had a bunch of copyright trolls attack my channel. It was dumb. I ended up having to take the sound out, so I'm going to redo that video plus the octopus. I think that one got hit as well. It was annoying. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. I'm going to be redoing the shark, and I'm hopefully going to do the octopus again at some point. So stay tuned for that, and until next time, guys, bye!